What makes a nucleus stable and unstable? What make one nucleus radioactive but other one is not radioactive?
Looks like you need some help. Okay, who faces here?
What makes a nucleus stable and unstable?
And what makes the other one radioactive but the other not radioactive? These are good questions. I'll teach you more about it. Let's go.
A few moments later.
We all know that nucleus contains protons, which is positively charged, and the neutrons don't have charge. And as we remember back in electrical charges, that like charges repel.
So, why is that happening in the nucleus? Why are the protons repelling from each other to the point that nucleus break apart when holds that nucleus together?
If there are two positive charges, protons are going to be positive charges next to each other. According to electromagnetic forces, they should be pushing themselves apart, but they just not go flying apart but held together. This is because there is a fundamental force that holds nucleus together, which is called the strong nuclear force. This force operates between protons and neutrons at extremely short distances.
Hi sir, what is nuclear stability?
Okay. Nuclear stability means that nucleus is stable, meaning that it does not spontaneously emit any kind of radioactivity or radiation. On the other hand, if the nucleus is unstable, well, not stable, it has this tendency of emitting some kind of radiation. Stable nucleus is non-radioactive, while unstable nucleus is radioactive. Keep in mind that less radioactive nucleus means more stable, and much unstable nucleus means less radioactive.
So, thank you sir for your some information.
Well, I hope you understand what I told you. Is there anything else?
No.
Well, okay, goodbye.
Wait, I forgot something about isotopes.
12 seconds later.
I forgot to ask him how isotope is stable.
Hey, I can read your mind.
Come with me, I'm a physicist. I can answer your questions.
Let's go.
To tell if an isotope is stable, you can follow these steps. Step 1. Determine if the number of protons and number of neutrons is even number. Step 2. Determine if the number of protons and or the numbers of neutrons is equal to the magic numbers. And step 3. Calculate the neutrons to proton ratio. Check on the band of stability. If the neutron to proton is on the band of stability, it is a stable isotope. If it's off the band of stability, you can predict what type of decay it's most likely to undergo. So let's talk about the connection between stability and the radioactive decay. The nuclei of radioisotopes are unstable. In an attempt to reach a more stable arrangement of its neutron and protons, the unstable nucleus will spontaneously decay to form a different nucleus. If the number of neutrons changes in the process, number of protons remains, and a different isotope is formed and an element remains. For an example, neutron emission. If the number of proton changes, different atomic number in the processes, then an atom of a different element is formed. This decomposition of the nucleus is referred to as radioactive decay. During radioactive decay, an unstable nucleus spontaneously and randomly decomposes to form a different nucleus or a different energy state, gamma decay, giving off radiation in the form of atomic particles or high energy rays. This decay occurs at a constant, predictable rate that is referred to as half-life. A stable nucleus will not undergo this kind of decay and is thus non-radioactive.
Oh, thank you.
You are welcome. I hope you learned something from what I said.
I learned so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. I forgot something. So, when nuclei are unstable, they are going to emit particles. And what are those particles? Oh, please, this is Dre. I need more questions.
Later that same evening.
Hey, Mom. Are you a physicist?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so nice. I have many questions.
Oh, come sit here.
Thank you. Next. Miss, I have a question. So, when a nuclei are stable, they are going to emit particles. So, what are those particles?
Oh, that's a good question. That particles are called nuclear radiation. It is a radiation that comes from the nucleus. The nucleus is made up of neutrons and protons, and it is in the center of atom. Usually, it is stable, but it gives radiation. It is unstable atom. And an unstable nucleus will give off pieces of itself. If atoms give off radiation, we call it radioactive. And it gives off radiation in a form of energy or in a form of particle. This type of atom is called radioactive. The actual atom is called radioisotope. Most atoms are not radioisotopes because they are completely stable.
Oh, I'm learning. Thank you.
There are at least 3 types of radiation. Come, I'll tell you more about it.
Okay.
So here are the 3 types of nuclear radiation. First is alpha radiation. Alpha radiation is when an atomic nucleus shoots out an alpha particles, which consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. If you dust off your chemical knowledge, you'll recall that nucleus of a helium atom consists of 2 protons and neutrons. So alpha radiation is when a radioactive element shoots out a helium atoms minus the electron. Next is beta radiation. Beta radiation is caused when an atomic nucleus shoots out an electron. We could call it electron radiation, but the name was invented before we identified the emitted particles as an electron. It generally occurs when a neutron in a nucleus turns into a proton and electron. The proton is kept inside the nucleus and the electrons escapes. And the last is gamma radiation. Gamma radiation is when an extreme high energy proton escapes the nucleus. In a sense, it isn't much different than the nucleus emitting ordinary light. But the much higher energy involved means the gamma ray can damage surrounding materials. X-rays are similar to gamma radiation in many ways, but less energetic. They are like the gamma radiation's younger and less successful siblings.
Thank you. For the information that you shared to me, and I learned so much.
And now that you have mastered nuclear stability, you can now be a great physicist.
Thank you. Bye.
Nucleus will give off a pieces of itself if Jarot. Hindi ko basa!